Hello, and welcome back to Midnight Movie Talk. My name is Grant, and I'm your host for this movie review podcast. With me, as always, we have Ryan.
What's going on, everyone?
And Sky.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good. But I think mostly because we actually have a fan recommendation for this episode.
Finally.
Yeah, we gotta get our fans involved. So shout out to Blake at Phoenix Theaters for this one. The movie is called Little Evil, and it is directed by Eli Craig. And I had to familiarize myself. I didn't know what else he made. And then I found out he made Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. Which is, great horror comedy.
I love that movie.
It might be the best horror comedy, to be honest. It's definitely up there.
It's close.
Yeah, Shaun of the Dead's in there, and then there's
Cabin in the Woods.
Yep, Cabin in the Woods.
Great.
It's a fun little niche genre. But Little Evil is a Netflix original movie, and it is about a man named Gary who just married the woman of his dreams, and unfortunately, they have a son who may or may not be the Antichrist.
That's very unfortunate.
That'd be a slight inconvenience. But what did you guys think of Little Evil?
Yeah, I thought it was decent. God, I'm trying to unpack it. So it's got some really good editing at parts. I like the whole, I guess, symbolism of the stepdad having to be the father of a kid from a previous marriage, and how they view them as the Antichrist. It's hard having that relationship, right? They go to the stepdad counseling meetings, so I like the connection between that. But yeah, I don't know. The humor was hit or miss for me at parts. Some of it was hilarious, and then other parts were a little too obvious or over the top. I guess I would bring up what did you think of I can't remember the character's name, but his best stepdad friend? Or,
the question mark transgender.
Yeah, I don't know, because she calls herself a stepdad, and I don't know if that was just the gag or
So
if she actually.
I like the dynamic of those two, and I feel I should have laughed more, but the lines that she said just never really made me laugh.
Yeah, I felt the same.
I was ready for a laugh, and I was almost expecting it, and it just never came. With that character, anyway.
Yeah, Adam Scott was great as just the the dad who's just doing the dry, playing it straight in a sense of he's just reacting normally to things. When his son or his stepson is literally the Antichrist. I guess we might want to say spoilers.
Yeah. Well, we typically do spoilers anyway, but
yeah.
Is he the Antichrist? He's basically you know what I mean, with that whole thing they get into.
Yeah.
He's a portal or something. I don't know.
Well, he is the Antichrist, but yeah, the way they explain it is he has the choice to be evil or not. And then the plot of the movie is very. I was on board with it when the kid is terrorizing him, and you have all these great little sequences where he goes into the room, and there's all these dolls hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah,
and
there's tons of horror references from other movies, obviously Poltergeist when he first walks into the room.
Yeah,
one of the characters' names, I believe, was Pharaoh in the beginning. It was also one of the main the main characters, the mom in Rosemary's Baby, is her name. And obviously, very similar thematically.
Yeah. Yeah,
there's a lot of other ones, too, I'm trying to remember.
The demon goat puppet saying rapture backwards, or...
obviously, the Omen is, the main, template of, what the movie's working with. And, yeah, you mentioned the editing, too, very Edgar Wright. Almost exactly like Edgar Wright's style.
Yeah, with, when they go to a bar, just, cutting to, the drinking, just all super quick cuts. Exactly Edgar Wright would do in some of his movies.
And I like that style of editing, but I'm not really sure about the purpose of it and the tone it was trying to create. Because I guess that's another thing I have with this movie. It is kind of tonally not all over the place, like from one scene to another, but like one act to another. Like the first act, I would say, is by far my favorite.
Yeah.
Like the first like 40 minutes, I was like on board with this movie, and then it kind of just became something else, and then it became something else. It was like, eh.
Yeah. What did we think of like the bonding of like? I thought like they weren't
way
getting
too quick.
Yeah, they weren't getting along, and then like he like decides that he's gonna drown him and puts like the sand weights on him, but then he's like, no, I'm not, and then like he takes them off, and then they're like, oh, we're best friends, and the kid's talking. I was like, what is going on?
There's a part in the movie where, I mean, it happens in the beginning, and then they show it like kind of towards the middle, like going into the end of the second act. But like the kid buries the husband alive.
Yeah.
And after that, they're kind of just like, oh, okay, like, sorry, I buried you alive. He's like, whatever. They go to a water park, and then after all this, because like initially the dad's plan when they went to the water park is to like drown the kid, but then they had such a good time at the water park, I was like, oh, so he's not going to drown the kid now. But no, he decides to drown the kid, or try to, and then instantly he's like, no, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah,
he's
he
like
looks
kind of
up,
like
asking for a sign from God, and a plane is making like the word love up in the sky.
Yeah. It's like it's a little like rushed when it would try to like get into stuff like that, and it is really like kind of like different, like totally from like what the beginning of the movie was offering. And I thought it was gonna end up being like a metaphor of like him trying to raise the kid, but I didn't think it was gonna like actually go into like cults and like crazy stuff like that.
Yeah, and then and then the ending's just I would say very rushed with all the stepdads getting into the monster truck and that out of nowhere.
Yeah. So Ryan, what did you think of the movie?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with everything you guys have said so far. My one thing was when the kid first gets introduced in the beginning, and like the Adam Scott or the stepdad is like, oh, I want, like kind of like trying to bond with this kid. I'm like, didn't you meet the kid before you married the woman, like, at all? Or is like, because it wasn't it his first time meeting her or meeting the kid?
No, like they kind of
almost.
Well, no, because
they
like,
don't know each other.
Yeah, they
like
definitely.
You could tell they don't know each other, and like I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna marry a woman and she already has this kid, like you should probably get to know him.
Yeah, there was some throwaway lines about that where like he's like, I tried to hang out with him like before the wedding, and then they at the wedding tornado happens.
Yeah,
like,
the tornado, that was great.
Yeah, that made me laugh super hard.
But I agree, Ryan. Yeah, they really just kind of, and that's again, it plays into like why do they get along suddenly at the end? Because he's trying to have a relationship with the kid. It's not like he wasn't. And then like bad stuff. He literally was trying. Bad stuff started happening, and then he's like, all right, I have to kill the kid. And then he's like, oh, never mind, we're having fun right now. Like, I'm not going to. And it's kind of just out of nowhere.
Yeah, and another thing is we never see that. Remember the guy he goes to see? I can't remember his name. He was in the first Tucker and Dale.
Yeah, he was in Tucker and Dale versus Evil. He was Dale.
Yeah, he was the guy that played Dale. We saw him once in the movie, and I thought he was going to come back. But he never did, because he's like, remember, he had all this information on this woman and her kid, and all the weird stuff and research that he did. Like, I figured he was going to be more of an important role, but he never was. He was just kind of like a catalyst for Adam Scott's character to implement his plan of murdering the kid.
He like puts the idea that like the kid is the Antichrist into his head because of the tornado sequence, and like something the words said backwards where he's like, you have to protect the child or something.
Yeah,
right. But wouldn't you think that you would want that guy to help you, since he's kind of he was even offering his services too. Like he's like, we
once you were on
nip this thing in the butt before it gets too far, and Yeah, so that was just another thing I noticed. I was like, wait, what happened to that guy? Why don't you bring that guy too? Like with all your friends, or all your stepdad buddies?
Yeah, no, I would agree. Like, the movie definitely gets messy the longer it goes on. Um, What do we think of the child actor? Because I thought he was good until he started like having to like talk, which like I was
Yeah.
hoping he would never like have to. Because like it's
The
not
end,
even they're setting him up as like a scary kid, and then when he starts talking, having fun, it kind of like just yeah ruins
the
the
end
tone.
for me was super cringe.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like, it was really cringe for me. Yeah, I don't know. I'm always awkward when it comes to those kind of like heartwarming scenes between like a father and
Yeah, the like happy
son.
ending.
Right, happy ending type stuff, ooey gooey, and it just makes it really awkward for me, and it did with this movie, because again, like you guys said, like they kind of bonded really quickly. So
Yeah, I thought they were gonna like play it up for jokes at the end, like how quick they were bonding and like
right,
because like they were
that
playing a
would've
lot
been
of
funny.
other things really cleverly for jokes, like in the beginning of the movie. But yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah,
Like,
I
it
mean,
almost felt like a different director directed like the last half of the movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
I could get that vibe for sure. I like when you were talking about that humor that works. Like I thought, like Evangeline Lilly, how she's like this super, like happy, naive, like over top protective mom.
Yeah, always
and,
wearing
like,
white.
Yeah, and she like I thought did a great job of being like the dumb, like mother in the sense of like oh yeah like when I was
my
younger
kid can do no wrong.
or just when she's like explaining how like it was like a weird like how he was conceived was very strange and Adam Scott's like
Yeah.
how is it strange and she's like oh like I just met a bunch of these guys and like turns out they were in a cult and they like made me wear red and like they put red body paint on me and like put me on like an altar and you're just like what and like she did great at being like the innocent well I thought that was all great like tonally and all that but yeah
Yeah,
that was
like I have very little issues with the first half of the movie.
yeah
Yeah, the first half of the movie was going fine. And, yeah, just to touch on the trans character, woman, guy, yeah, she was not funny. She kind of reminded me of, like, a Melissa McCarthy in a way. And
She wasn't that
Melissa
bad, I don't think.
She wasn't as bad as Melissa McCarthy, but she was
And like
teetering.
the thing is, I don't even
towards
think
that.
she was bad. Like I think she did a good job. Like her like vibe, like I really liked the whole like dynamic of those two. And
the
like I said,
writing.
like I feel like I
Yeah,
should.
it was just the writing,
Like,
yeah.
the things she was saying
No,
were
it-
just not making me laugh. Just kind of
Right.
weird.
I feel like if she was given better lines, it would have been way better, and it would have delivered better.
Same with all the stepdads because they all had like horrible lines. I think one made
Yeah.
me laugh. Like that's it, and they would all have to try and
Yeah.
have these like one quippy, throwaway lines. But
Yeah, the one story at the like therapy thing or whatever, the
Oh,
group
yeah.
circle was really funny.
So wait, the director wrote and directed this movie. Did he do both for Tucker and Dale also, or did they have different writers for that?
it's a good question.
I will tell you in a second.
Because
He was one of the writers for Tucker and Dale versus Evil. There is another
So
writer
he had-
as well.
he had help. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm definitely gonna keep his movies on my list, like as they come out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's by no means like a horrible movie.
Yeah,
At
like
all.
the second half, like it isn't horrible. It just gets really generic
Yeah.
and like kind of
It's
rushed.
good.
So like it isn't like it makes the whole movie terrible. It's just like vastly different from like what the first half was, which was actually like pretty solid.
Yeah, I would agree.
I'm trying to think. There was something else too that I was gonna mention, and then we got into that one character again. It was on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember it. But I think this director has only done Tucker and Dale versus Evil in this movie. He might have done like a short or something. I'm looking right now. Yeah, he had a short. He directed an episode of a TV show, and then he did a TV movie of Zombieland.
There was a TV movie of Zombieland?
Yeah, it's only 28 minutes long. So
Weird.
that's kind of interesting. Might have to check that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, the kid, like, you could definitely tell when he was, like, forcing his smiles at the water park. That was one of the things I was going to mention. As far as, like, the acting goes.
Yeah, that was all cringe. It's all part of the cringe that I went on.
Again, like, I think the decision just to have him, like, talk, like, at all, kind of, it just, like, it ruins the beginning setup, I guess. Because, like, well, I guess, throughout the whole journey, it just isn't, I guess, earned. The relationship on how they're just, super happy and affectionate at the end is very out of left field. Yeah, I mean, other than that, I can't really think of too much
I think
else
this
to
was
say.
the thing. I think, like, the water park thing, I thought the kid was, like, it was all going to be, like, a ploy. How, like, the kid was, like, baiting, like, a Bond type thing. And then it was going to, like, turn. Because, like, it made no sense watching it. I was like, this is happening way too quickly.
Yeah, and there was, like, a lot of weird setups that had bizarre, like, the guy who would constantly shush him. You're just like, oh, this is a creepy guy, like, he's, like, somehow connected with, like, the end of the world, and then he actually is, like, go save the boy, and, like, save the world, and saves him, like, helps him get out of the cop car, like, that weird setup and payoff.
His setup was cut short.
Yeah, because, like, I guess he was in on it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's kind of weird. But yeah, definitely not a bad movie.
Yeah.
And I guess I would recommend watching it, like, if you watch the trailer and you're, like, kind of interested. But it is kind of, like, inconsistent the more it goes on.
Yeah, it gets more generic the longer it goes on. Yeah, and less clever.
But yeah, I guess if we don't have anything else, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. I suppose I would recommend this movie, but I would strongly recommend Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, which I think is also on Netflix.
Yep, it should be.
Yeah, and if it's not, it should be pretty cheap to get on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean,
whatever you do, don't watch the trailer for Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, because it gives away a lot of the best bits.
Really? I've
Yeah.
never seen the trailer for it.
Yeah, I've never either.
Yeah, I watched, like, the first 30 seconds of the trailer, like, before I saw the movie, and I stopped because it showed, like, kind of the basic premise. I was like, okay, I'm not going to watch any more of that.
Huh.
Interesting.
As for this movie, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 also. So, I mean, not a bad movie. Some cringe in it. Humor kind of fell flat a little bit, but overall, yeah, I'd say it's pretty decent.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be probably the most consistent podcast, but yeah, I've also gave it a 5. It's fine. It's not like you're going to feel bad watching it, but I would say if you're into horror comedies a lot, like, it's worth a watch. I'm not sure if I would recommend this to, like, everybody, but yeah, you definitely won't be, like, bored. You might just be like, underwhelmed at the end.
Yeah, I think the first, like, half of the movie, the humor works really well. I think it definitely, like, doesn't outweigh the rest of the movie, but it definitely keeps it from going any lower than a 5.
Yeah.
And, like, up until, like, the last half, I was going to give it, like, a 7. It was that strong at the beginning. But it happens. So, yeah. That was Little Evil. But, so we're going into... I guess, yeah, we had... In our last video, the fan that recommended Little Evil also left us a question to answer. Our first ever fan question as well. And that question is, what is the worst movie genre?
Yeah.
You guys want to answer that?
This is See, this was like a tough one for me because like I feel like obviously you can make any genre, good if you had good writers and stuff, but like
Or bad.
yeah, or bad. But I would say the one that I find the most annoying is usually like just flat out like romance movies because usually they're generic, and it's like
rom-coms.
Yeah, I mean some rom-com again. Yeah, it just if you go through the same generic beats of like couple, like they're both down on their luck, they bump into each other, like it's a will they won't they start dating, things are going great, and then it turns out he was like hiding something from her, or like vice versa, and then it all works out in the end. They live happily, like that, like general storyline. I feel like is pretty much used in 90% of romance movies, and like that stuff. Like I can't watch it. So, but you could say that about a lot of genres, I suppose. I guess that's the one that came to mind or annoys me the most. But like again, you could have the same general beats in a horror movie, and that would annoy me as well. So, but yeah, I would probably say that.
I mean, I'm kind of. I was gonna say the same thing. I was gonna say romantic comedy. Because they do stick to the same formula every single time, and they don't really go outside of that. And there's a lot of conveniences, and it's very unrealistic most of the time. But, God, I don't know if I had to pick another one.
I'd also add, usually it has super generic music that just, it's so cringy.
Oh, yeah, super generic.
Do you want me to go ahead with mine while you think of one, or do you want to?
Yeah, I can try to think of another one, but that was going to be my choice.
So, yeah, going into this podcast, romantic comedies definitely came to mind, but I was like, there's no way that either one of you guys isn't going to say that. And so with that in mind, I think I'm going to go with sports movies.
Oh, I thought you were going to say war movies, but okay.
Yeah, sports movies.
That's a good one, too.
List.
That's a good one, too. But,
again, it's just
sports movies.
Side.
Yeah, it has the generic and stuff, but as far as a formula goes for a certain movie, sports movies have the same formula every time. It's like the character comes... Like, it's usually a coach, goes to a team. The team's kind of either slacking off or, like, they're just not that good. And he has to band them all together, and they work through some adversity. And towards the end of the second act, there's a tragedy or a thing that comes up from the past. And they all have to go through that adversity. And then there's the tournament or the final game. And then most of the time they win. And rarely they lose. But if there's only two outcomes after all of that build-up and setup, it doesn't even really matter.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm trying to think of, like, a sports movie.
I would say maybe some music genre movies, because, like, it depends on the music. Like, there's a lot of musicals. Yeah. Like musicals, like for me, it really it depends like how well it's choreographed and how good the songs are. But most of the time, I get bored. Like if I'm watching a musical movie, and it's like, because you can't just have them singing and dancing the entire way through. Like the movie has to have a story, and if the story isn't good, and the songs are like the best part of the movie, then it's gonna just fall flat. Like for me, it will, at least.
I can definitely think of a handful of musicals that I really like. That are like different
I mean, I love Whiplash. Like that's a good one.
Well, that's not a musical though.
I mean,
it would be.
Is it though? I know it's technically it's not, but it could be.
Yeah,
like
even though this is a super stretch, I would think it's closer to a sports movie than a musical.
Yeah. I mean, musical, I think of, like, there's acting,
like
and then, like, they break out into
numbers.
songs, and, like, yeah, it moves the plot.
Yeah, I'm thinking of, like, dancing or... God, I'm trying to think of one right now. Singing in the Rain. That's a classic.
I mean, like, Cats, Footloose.
Oh yeah, Cats.
Yeah,
Footloose,
musicals definitely
Grease.
have a formula, but there's been good ones lately. Like La La Land was a great musical. Sing Street was also really good. There's another one that I saw recently too.
I mean, again, I think it just comes down to like how
because
generic
like sports
the
movies,
script is.
like I can't think of like besides maybe like Goon,
Goon's
which
great.
isn't an amazing movie or anything, but like it's different and it's like. Really
I wouldn't even
enjoyable.
call that like a sports movie. That's just a comedy.
Well,
I mean, it's about sports.
It's a sports
hockey,
movie,
but like
there's enough sport in the movie to call it a sports.
yeah. Well, see
movie,
this.
but,
Yeah,
like,
this is where we like when you said sports.
Well, there's enough
movies,
music in Whiplash to call it a musical.
Yeah, but as they're singing.
Yeah,
'Cause,
see,
like,
that's
musical
the
is,
people
like-
don't break into singing. But I mean,
Well, just because they're singing doesn't mean it's like you can
This
play
debate-
instruments and it can still be a musical.
This was actually a really big debate too when the movie came out, which is pretty funny.
with Whiplash, really?
I mean, I don't.
Yeah,
interesting.
I don't consider it a full-on musical. I mean, I consider it a comedy and a drama more than.
I mean, yeah,
Because
there's
I
like
think-
music.
But I'm just saying it definitely has
pieces.
musical elements.
Yeah, there's
especially
musical
for the Golden
pieces.
Globes too, because like you know how they nominate movies by like musical or comedy
Oh yeah,
or
like
drama.
The Martian.
Yeah, the comedy, The Martian.
Or the musical, The Martian. but yeah, I think all of us are kind of just like, essentially, yeah. If it like does like a super safe route in the genre, like we don't like it. It seems like that's the
Yeah.
trend. Or it hits all
Yeah,
the
like-
same beats, doesn't do anything new.
And another one I would almost throw out is comedies. Because a lot of like comedies nowadays are kind of just like
Generic.
situational humor and like no consequences, generic ending.
Super unrealistic, yeah.
And there's yeah, it's all dialogue driven with the humor, which is super subjective. But yeah.
Or they're trying to be trendy with like dabbing or something. You know what I mean? They're trying to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to.
Basically my favorite genres can be like the most creative. Like horror, there is definitely like all the mainstream horrors typically follow a formula, but there's a ton of different like
Yeah.
indie horror movies that can branch out and do a ton of different subgenres. But yeah, I guess those are our answers for that question. Thank you for the submission again.
Yeah.
So one of you two should go ahead with your question while I think of mine.
Okay, so we're gonna get into our questions we have for each other, and I'm really curious to see. I feel like one of you is gonna bring up this scene in a movie, but the question is, what is the creepiest scene in a movie, that comes to your recollection right now? Obviously, this isn't a definitive answer, but when I say creepiest scene in a movie, what comes to mind? Like what movie and what scene?
Right off the bat, for me, was the scene in Hereditary where the kid is sitting on the bed and the mom's in the background, just crawling around.
Oh yeah, up top, yeah.
Yeah, that was creepy for me.
See, that wouldn't even be the creepiest scene in Hereditary for me. The creepiest scene in Hereditary for me would be like the dream,
And he wakes
kind
up.
of. Yeah, where like, not even well, like where like, or yeah, where you, I guess, I'm trying to think of whose dream it is now, but like where Toni Collette is
Just
kind of
floating
like,
above him.
Oh yeah, you're right. I think it's her dream. Like
Yeah.
she's like burning them alive, right? And then like he's just
Yeah.
like mom, and she's just like standing above.
Yeah,
it's
the
good.
face she's making, like, Toni Collette in that movie is just so good.
Yeah, like I said, it was just the first one that came to my head.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of creepy scenes in that movie for sure. I
Yeah, I'm trying to
thought
think of like in general.
one of you was gonna say the snake scene in The Taking of Deborah
Oh,
Logan.
God.
Yeah, I don't even know if that would
Taking of
classify
Deborah
as
Logan.
creepy, more of just like
That was
scary.
just shocking. That was, I mean, I just remember when we were watching that, we were just like, what is that? Like,
Yeah, that had a lot of shock factor.
But as for me, I'm trying to think, I'm not sure if you've seen this, Ryan, or if it was just me and Grant. But Grant, do you remember the tunnel with the
I've seen that. I've seen
with the homeless man. Like there's like all these homeless people are like essentially going into like the tunnels. They're all being like killed or something by this like creature, and they're like using like a camera like underground in a tunnel, so it's super dark, and you can like barely make out this figure, and it like just starts like eating this homeless man, and then like it like looks at them and like slowly starts coming out. Oh, so creepy.
So I think the creepiest scene for me, and a lot of people might not find this creepy, but it's the scene in Neroi the Curse, where it's like the game show thing.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Where they're all drawing, like it's like the Oracle, like prophet kids or the psychic kids that can like see things. And then one of them that's been getting all these questions right, out of nowhere draws like this creepy face when like that's not even what the question is. And I don't know why, it's just so eerie.
Yeah.
Like that definitely gave me the most chills, so that would be definitely like, as far as creepy goes, for me, that would definitely take the cake.
All right. I liked all the answers.
I guess I'll go with my question. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, think of your least favorite movies of all time. Take like the bottom 5.
Okay.
Yep, I have.
You can only pick one of these movies, and you're stranded on a desert island with a TV and a Blu-ray box, and that's the only movie you can watch for the rest of your life.
Jeez. So I have to choose like my favorite of my least favorite?
Yep.
It wouldn't even necessarily be favorite. It's just the one that you could like watch over.
Like
and over
one,
and
yeah,
tolerate
like
the
one
most.
that, like you can't pick the Fanatic because there's still something you
'cause
enjoy
it's, like,
about the
enjoyable.
Fanatic.
But like,
Yeah.
so you're saying like not just worst movies made. You're saying least favorite.
Like you can't tolerate it. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
All right, so I just went to all my ones on IMDb, and these are...
So I have one, and I think it's going to be The Lion King 2019.
That's a good one.
Yes.
It's fascinatingly bad. That's the best way I would describe that movie. Fascinatingly bad.
Yeah, I haven't had the luxury of watching that one yet.
See, this is like a tough one for me, because I feel like there's several movies I hate that I could pick, and like I'm trying to like really torture myself here. So like I would have like The Souvenir from 2019 in there, because I can't stand that movie. I'd have that Treehouse movie from Into the Dark.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, that
The Devil's
Treehouse movie.
Rejects. I hate that movie so much. That would probably be there. But see, like, so like out of those 3, Jesus, that'd be so. I guess what do I pick? 5. Okay, so we have those 3. Reprisal.
That one's kind of funny though.
That's what I'm saying. So like it's like I would definitely out of those 4, I'd pick Reprisal. The
take
Silence.
Anytime, Punk.
I'd probably pick The Silence or Reprisal over.
The Silence is really funny.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's really tough for me, because I would pick one of those that like I can't stand, or Kangaroo Jack. Jesus, I'm just going through all my ones right now, and yeah, there's
You
like
have to pick one, Sky.
Well, I mean, if I'm looking at all my ones, I mean, I would pick one of the Star Wars. I'd probably pick. Do I go? So I have Phantom Menace or Attack of the Clones. I'd probably go Phantom Menace, because at least I would have like a decent score to listen to.
You would have a great score to
Yeah.
listen.
Yeah.
That'd probably
The one thing those 3 movies had going for them.
Yeah, I'd probably have like the Phantom Menace on, because I could, I'd see some action. It'd be horrible CGI, some horrible acting, some borderline racist characters. But it'd be enjoyable, I suppose, for at least one viewing.
So what would yours be, Ryan?
Okay, so mine would probably be Rings.
Oh my god, I
Plural.
can't even remember Rings.
Rings. I just remember it was so boring and it was so bad that we didn't even finish it, and we fast forwarded it to the end to see how it ended.
Yeah, I think that's one of the
so-
only movies I have ever fast forwarded just to get to the end.
It's
Now
on
that I
my
think about it.
yeah, it's on my
It was
number
just
ones.
terrible.
Didn't even recognize it.
Like, you get no enjoyment out of it at all. Like, it's just so boring. And, like, the scares aren't even... It's not even scary. So, that would...
So you would choose to watch that yourself? That
Dude, I had... Because I have to pick... I'd have to pick one that I resent the most. And that would be one of them that I resent the most.
Okay.
Otherwise, like, Slender Man... They have that one weird scene that made me laugh. So, see, I get a little enjoyment out of that. You know, I would look forward to that every time I watch Slender Man. The rest of the movie, I could care less. But, like, that one scene, I would get a giggle out of. So, Rings.
Okay. Because I am ill-prepared for this question, I'm kind of piggybacking off of yours, Ryan. I'm going to go with you're on an island and you can only watch one director's movies. And if the director is, like, still making movies, you'll be able to watch their movies that they keep making.
Oh. Interesting. Well, I mean, I would go Denis Villeneuve then. Either him or Nolan.
Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah, him or Nolan.
Denis Villeneuve.
Because Nolan's going to keep making movies. Quentin Tarantino, I don't know about him. He might only make one more.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah, he'd be my number one.
He'd be a good one. If I had to pick one... So you could pick Scorsese, but nobody knows how long he's gonna keep making movies.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got another, like, 10 years of movies. Maybe more. And he has a huge catalog, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, you could watch a bunch of his stuff. Boy. This is a thinker for a bit. Because I could pick so many directors, but I want to make sure, like, they're making stuff still. So, like, I have material that'll keep coming. If you have one, Grant, go ahead.
See, I'm thinking between a few, because, like, Kubrick would be awesome.
Yeah,
He's made
Kubrick
a
would be good, but...
And Denis Villeneuve was definitely, like, a top 3 choice for me.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, if it wasn't for, like, if we weren't worried about saying the same thing, I would probably say Denis Villeneuve as well. But I don't know, Christopher Nolan too. Just because his movies are really rewatchable too, or at least the ones that I like.
David Fincher.
They always have great soundtracks too, usually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, David Fincher hasn't been doing anything.
He hasn't come out with much lately.
Mindhunter.
Well, yeah, Mindhunter.
But he directed like a couple episodes. I think he was just producing it mostly. But now that's done, unfortunately.
Yeah, it does kind of suck.
See, I'd pick like Ari Aster, but he only has 2 movies out right now.
But both of his movies are fantastic.
They are, and I know like he won't let me down.
He's young too, so he can keep pumping
as he
out.
keeps pumping them out. Yeah. So that'd be kind of cool. I'm gonna go with him, because that way when he releases a new movie, I'll be on my island. I'll be like, at least I didn't get to miss out.
They'll just
on
drop
Ari
you
Aster.
the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
just
airdrop it in. Then Sky, you'll be on the island next door, and you'll have Denny, all of his movies and new releases.
Okay.
I'll throw all Ari Aster's over to you, and you'll throw Denny's to me.
I am going with Bong Joon-ho.
Oh.
Ooh, there you go. That's a good one.
Yeah, he's still got several I haven't seen.
Yeah, he's got plenty of years ahead of him, and all of his movies are essentially genreless.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be another good one. Would be Edgar Wright.
Oh.
Yeah, Edgar Wright's movies are the most rewatchable, but he does only have 5 movies.
But he's still making more.
Does he have 6? No, I don't think so.
He's making Baby Driver 2.
Yeah, he's making Baby Driver 2. But it's Baby Driver, Scott Pilgrim, Cornetto Trilogy. And I think that's it, right? I'm not forgetting anything.
Yeah.
Because he made that show. I'm trying to remember what it's called. It was before he did his movies.
Yeah, I never watched it.
Spaced.
Hmm.
But yeah, he has a
Never
movie
seen
coming
that.
out this year. And apparently it's a horror movie.
Wait, Edgar Wright
Oh,
does?
it's called Spaced?
Yeah.
Really? I thought he was making Baby Driver 2 right now. So.
Yeah, that'll be coming up, like, after this movie, I think.
Oh,
But
interesting.
yeah, the movie he has coming out this year is called Last Night in Soho. And it has Anya Taylor-Joy and Thomasin McKenzie.
Well, I'm really excited for that.
Yep, it's my number one most anticipated so far, at least.
I'm surprised you didn't say Paul Thomas Anderson, Grant. I thought you were-
Yeah, that's another really good one, too. His movies, like, as masterful as they are,
They're
do
long.
kind of, like... well, they are long. But they're, like, very similar in tone and pace as well, even though their stories are so different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, Bong Joon-ho, like, the variety in those movies. And obviously Denis Villeneuve, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably be Denis Villeneuve my number one choice, but for the sake of being different, Bong Joon-ho.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ari Aster, for the sake of being different.
Yeah, if I was going with, like, a new up-and-coming director and, like, taking a chance, I would say David Robert Mitchell.
Interesting. What has he done?
He started out with It Follows, and then he made Under the Silver Lake.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And It Follows, I've probably watched, like, 10 times already. And Under the Silver Lake, I've seen 3 times. Both fantastic movies. Even though It Follows is kind of flawed, it's still so much fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did another one.
That's it.
Yeah, keep the questions coming.
Yeah, definitely keep those questions coming. Because we definitely like to answer those questions. Yeah, I do like that we started doing the questions at the end.
Yeah.
To be like, it's like more like, I don't know what
Yeah,
the word
hopefully
I'm
we
looking
get to a
for
point
is.
where we don't have to come up with the questions and the people do. So that way we can just focus on answering them.
Yeah, it helps
who
like,
knows?
let everyone know who everyone is, movie tastes, just from the
Mhm.
questions.
But yeah, we have a Twitter page and a Facebook page, so give us a follow and a like on those. Definitely leave those comments on our YouTube videos, and be sure to subscribe to the channel with the notification bell on. I'm trying to think if there's any other housekeeping. I don't think there is. I don't know. Could be wrong. I'm willing to chance it. But I think our next podcast, if we can somehow make it work, is in the spirit of March Madness. The whether it's the best of the decade or like best of whatever we choose, but it's gonna be like a bracket style, like head-to-head movies competing in the bracket. One winner takes them all. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, look forward to that. But otherwise, I will see you on the next one.
Yeah, see you, everybody.
Yeah. See you guys later.